Oh, Amazon, why do you hate us so? I mean, I know people often make jokes about movie reviewers like myself having to suffer through bad content so that they don't have to, but Rings of Power Season 2 is one of the rare cases where I actually began to feel it. To put this into some kind of perspective, I once climbed the highest mountain in the UK on a boiling hot day with an absolutely stinking hangover every step of the way, and that experience was less of a slog than getting through 3 episodes of this show in time for open bar. It was, to put it bluntly, one of the most miserable and depressingly tedious media experiences of my entire career that somehow found new and creative ways to deprecate on Tolkien's legacy and prove once again that modern culture is an absolute blight on humanity. From the cringe-inducing dialogue straining for grandiose pomposity and peppered with so many tortured metaphors that the writer should be arrested for crimes against literature, to the idiotic character choices and a ridiculously convoluted plot held together by so many conveniences and shortcuts that it makes J.J. Abrams look like Christopher Nolan, to the overwrought performances by a cast of effeminate Gen Z pussies that ticks almost every diversity box except acting ability, to the ham-fisted direction and oversaturated cinematography that's so dark you literally can't see what the fuck is even going on half the time. It all adds up to a billion-dollar slab of arse cancer that shames the legacy of Lord of the Rings and makes a complete mockery out of everything that Tolkien stood for. Put another way, the Rings of Power Season 2 fucking sucks. Now, I'm going to do my best to summarise whatever passes for a plot here, but in the interests of my own sanity, I'm going to speedrun this shit, because the less time I have to spend talking about Rings of Power, the better. Anyway, allow me to give you the meat and give it to you raw. The show gets off to the worst possible start by devoting a good 20 minutes to an extended flashback sequence explaining how Sauron got betrayed by his own lieutenant and eventually got reborn as Halbrand before running into Galadriel.
Not very funny.
Why are you wasting all this time by telling us stuff that we already know? Do you guys even understand what storytelling is? Or is this whole thing just an amusing little side project for you? Also, I love the idea that Sauron, a godlike being of unimaginable power and influence, commanding armies numbering in the hundreds of thousands by the sheer force of his will, is reduced to this dork in a shitty wig trying to argue with a couple of dozen orcs in a cave somewhere. For a show that cost $1 billion, Rings of Power somehow manages to make everything that should be grand and epic feels small and cheap. I mean, do you really think an entity as powerful as Sauron would need to argue his case to get orcs to follow him? Anyway, they decide that they don't like him anymore, so they stab him to death. But then his blood turns into a floopy black goo monster that eventually climbs out of the mountain and rolls down the side like a turd until it gets stuck in the wheels of someone's wagon before it eats them. This is real, this is stuff which actually happens in this show. Honestly, I could probably spend an hour breaking down this opening scene alone because it perfectly encapsulates how the writers completely misunderstand almost every aspect of what Sauron is. But let's just keep moving, for God's sake. So eventually we get back to the present day, where Sauron allows himself to get captured in Mordor and brought before Adar, who for some reason doesn't recognize him or sense his power, and manages to convince the guy to release him by using the following gambits. Sauron is alive again, and I know you want him dead, even though I totally shouldn't know that because you betrayed him hundreds of years before I should have been born, but don't think about that too much. And I don't actually know where he is or what he looks like now, but the important thing is that he's totally not me. And if you let me go, then I can go to the elves and maybe find out where he is and then report back to you, so that you can march your not particularly strong armies halfway across Middle-earth to the most heavily defended stronghold in the entire world and possibly take him out. And I'll totally do all of that and not just disappear and never come back. Trust me, bro. And the amazing thing is, it actually works. So he teleports over to Celebrimbor and says that it's ringing time, buddy. And even though Celebrimbor has been specifically warned never to deal with him again, Sauron transforms into a fire demon angel thing and he's like, don't worry man, I've been sent from heaven to help you out. Trust me bro. So Celebrimbor's like, sure, okay, I'm convinced. Meanwhile, Elrond steals the three elven rings that have already been made and decides to destroy them because they might be influenced by Sauron, but fucking Doughboy here wants them anyway because he already wears more finger jewelry than your average gypsy taxi driver, so Elrond throws himself off a waterfall and magically survives so that the rest of the plot can happen. But then they catch him anyway and use the rings to bring the elf trees back to life or something. Then there's Gandalf and the not hobbits who are wandering through the fucking desert looking for stars or something. None of them seem to know or care why they're in this show anyway, and frankly, neither do I. But I did kind of laugh when we get introduced to this doofus played by Kieran Hines. Literally, this was your one chance to introduce a racially diverse character and have it actually make sense in universe, and you chose possibly the whitest actor in the entire fucking industry to play him. What is wrong with your brains? Like, do they just not operate like regular brains or what? Also, it's nice to see the real Grim Shady make a comeback, because those guys totally weren't a laughingstock from the first season. Oh yeah, and Isildur is alive again, because wow, it turns out that baiting the death of a major character that we know can't die yet wasn't the best way of sustaining dramatic tension. Neither was bringing back Don Lemonlass, who was a pointless character even in season 1, and hasn't changed much here. It did make me laugh though when they had to explain away the death of Bronwyn, even though she was totally alive and well at the end of season 1. Yeah, those orc arrows just take a while to kill you, I guess. Don't think about it too much. There's also a tedious storyline in Moria where the dwarves are running out of food, but they can't do anything about it until Durin and his father reconcile, but they won't because they're basically idiotic children now, I guess. And lastly, there's a growing power struggle in downtown Numenor where discount Karl Marx is going to stage a coup against diverse female queen, and he's so smart about it that he literally talks openly about open corner in the middle of a crowded tavern. Brilliant. The last thing they do Sophisticated characters like elves, it's always going to be a challenge. Well, this shows slaughtered by the hundreds, they exist only for war. In the Two Towers, they get spawned into existence with a helmet slapped onto their head and a sword thrust into their hand, and their first question is literally, what do you want me to kill and destroy? They don't have quiet lives, and you can't make me empathize with them. They are monsters. At this point, Tolkien must be spinning in his grave so fast that you can hook him up to a dynamo and power the entire national grid with him. This show is quite simply an abomination, a ruined, corrupted form of entertainment, twisted and mutilated, lost beyond all hope of redemption. And if Amazon had any common sense whatsoever, they would cast it into the fire, destroy it before it consumes us all. Anyway, that's all I've got for today, thank fuck. Go away now!
Last night was the big interview, the big day, the big moment on CNN. Kamala Harris finally emerged from hiding with her emotional support dog, the golden retriever, Tim Walls, and they sat down for an interview. It's the first time she can answer any questions since wrestling the nomination away from the newcomer who's still
God damn it.
Then she goes off on the climate crisis. She said, and I quote, I wrote this down. She says, it's an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. So this is more patented Kamala word salad. As always, she needs to speak like an 8th grader, writing a book report and stretching to hit the word limit. You got to get to 2 pages, and you're at 1 2/3 of a page, and so you just got to keep. It's too late to go back and use a bigger font or whatever. So, deadlines around time, she says. There's deadlines around. What else would the deadlines refer to? It's a deadline. It has to do with time. Of course, you don't need to specify it. What else would the deadlines be? Maybe deadlines around what color, shape, and smell? Yes, it's around time. Again, this time around the issue of fracking.
I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I did not.
2019, I believe, in town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing federal ban on fracking in your first day in office? And you said there's no question in favor of banning. So yes. So it changed in that campaign.
In 2020, I'm very clear where I stand. We have 2024, and I'll change that position. I got my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position?
Well, let's be clear. My values stand. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against those crises.
逃出去就是死，我要留在这盘死。
Oh my god.
She's changed her views on literally everything. The only thing she's been consistent on is killing babies. That's the only issue that she's been consistent. She has been consistently in favor of that. So, we'll give her that. She's been consistent on that issue. She's always cared deeply about killing babies. She wants to kill as many as she can. But everything else has changed. Every other same thing. And so they knew this going in. Obviously, her advisors gave her, my values have not changed. She keeps repeating it. That's one thing. If you give Kamala a line and it plays well, or she thinks it plays well, she will repeat it over and over and over again, even in the same conversation. And even though it's not a good line. It's not hard to come up with some good lines to kind of distract from the fact that you're a flip-flop and a phony. That's not a good one. That's a bad one. And yet, that's what they decided to have her. Then she was off of climate again. And again, she's quoting her. It's very important that we take seriously what we must do.
是你。
Central America that deals with, that affects the southern border of the U.S. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait for Congress to implement sweeping asylum restrictions? Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was passed which we support, which I support, and Donald Trump got work.
逃出去就是死，不要留我在这盘死斗。
People that is not
我让老朱快活，谁也休息。
And this is what he comes up. Children being shot. Records. And then his second answer is that his grammar, he has poor grammar. Oh, shucks, listen, I'm just a normal, everyday guy. I wear blue jeans, sneakers, I mow my lawn, okay? I eat fast food, I go to Walmart, and sometimes we regular, old, everyday folk, we mix up our words, and we use bad grammar. And sometimes our grammar is so bad that we accidentally lie about our military record for 20 years. And I'll tell you what, Donald Trump, he's such an elitist that he's never pretended to have combat experience. That's what an elitist he is. That's what we're going with. Bad grammar. Don't you hate it when your grammar is so bad that it causes you to invent whole periods of your life that never occurred? Yeah, I mean, one time my grammar was so bad that I accidentally claimed I was the code of King of Cambodia. That's how bad my grammar is. One time. 是你，偏要逼我！别
不是你，他们都人。
Has done during this election cycle, at least certainly since Kamala came on board, was to bait her into doing an interview. It's really pressure. It's really entirely pressure from. It's what's all confusing about it. There's very little pressure from the left for her to do an interview. Because somebody on the left knows they wanted it to because they knew it was going to go like this. So all the pressure from the right. You know, it was the Trump camp. It was like people like me, conservative people with platforms. We're all the ones saying, "Hey, why did you got to do an interview? You should really." We obviously want you to do it because we know it's going to be terrible for you. That's why we want it. Like this, and they succumb to the pressure, and they figure out there, and it's terrible. Which is great. But
逃出去就是死，我要留在这盘死。
maybe it's the media. Why is it so dark? Why is the lighting so dark? Why are there empty cups in the shot? That was deliberately put there. That's not naturally there. So for some reason, they chose this cafe. They made it very dark. They're going for that vibe. And they looked at the shot, and somebody, I don't know if it's someone at CNN or someone at the Kamala campaign, not that there's any distinction. Someone looked at the shot and said, you know, wait a second, you know what we need? We need a bunch of empty cups in the background. We need about, no more cups. No, not one or two. We need 10 cups. Put 10 empty cups in the shot. We need all the empty cups we can get for this thing. Why are they dressed?
Did you know, in Black Myth Wukong, there is a glitch that can let you cast infinite spells on the enemies. You can immobilize any boss constantly, and you can create an army of clones as well. In order to do this, you need to acquire two things. You need to upgrade Pillar Stance skills to this certain point, and you need to have Cloud Step spell. Now perform the Pillar Stance combo. While you're spinning, spam the Cloud Step spell buttons as quick as possible. Here is an example.
Why is she so smart? But get her a higher seat so that's fucking child. I mean, it's just bizarre. I don't get it. The whole thing is weird. I don't. That's what I don't do. This is a free-off content. I don't know why they set the shot like that. It makes me sad, actually. Like, it makes me sad that people are running for president, but just the look of it kind of makes you sad. It has a sad kind of feel to it. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed. pictures of boyfriend and his best friend. She lit a brick wall. That's right. No. Look at us, Steve's photos and tiny little girl. That's her. Whoa. 2 life sentences. She got into a fight with her boyfriend, and this fucking lunatic. Well, that's right. 17. What's wrong? Yeah. Has all dark kinks. She's full of kinks. She's full of kinks, right? And one of her kinks. So I guess the reason was we have to fight. Yeah. And I'll take this one in my own. But take the lead. I'll leave. Because if he's dead, yeah. Well, this is yeah. It's promoted because these cars on now, they got these computers, right? I'm more computers. I can tell when you brake, how far you brake past the wall. Yeah. No straight. Brake side. You know, brake. It's too long. Too long. No, look at you, Joe. It's more of a drunk than that. No, I don't want you to drive drunk. Well, you were sick. You had a brick wall. Oh, so she wasn't drunk. No, I don't think so. She didn't brake. But they didn't. She didn't brake. She sped up. They car registered. She hit the fucking gas. And then they connected. Now, when you would she in a coma, or did you realize she was still alive? Well, I think she was fine right away. Yeah.
Did you know in Black...
Some combat tricks you are likely not using in Black Myth Wukong. Use the mobile spin attack up close against an enemy to get a ton of focus back in no time. Sometimes the immobilization spell will also not break. It's amazing against slower targets, and you will need to unlock the focus spin skill for this.
Did you know in Black Myth Wukong, there is a glitch that can let you cast infinite spells on the enemies. You can immobilize any boss constantly, and you can create an army of clones as well. In order to do this, you need to acquire 2 things. You need to upgrade pillar stance skills to this certain point, and you need to have cloud step spell. Now perform the pillar stance combo. While you're spinning, spam the cloud step spell buttons as quick as possible. Here is an example.
Stickers? I've never used. Oh, they're the best. No, those stickers work. But I don't get them followed.
Some combat trick.
I mean, I had my. It already got. So you don't. I had it since I know. I thought it was a record. Okay. Yeah. You think I got that? Yeah. By the way, I do look right below my right button. They have this stroke. It's so gross. You know? But I'll do it. I'll let it out. Okay. He's got his own personality. Okay. That's Concoos. What is it? Concoos. Concoos. Yeah. How would I get Concoos? It's Spanish. Anyway, we've got Rudy Jules is back in the house. Yeah. What's in the gym bag? Straight for us. Straight to school. Or camp school. Someone's wrong. That's let's see what's inside. Open it up.
Did you know, in Black Myth Wukong, there is a glitch that can let you cast infinite spells on the enemies. You can immobilize any boss constantly, and you can create an army of clones as well. In order to do this, you need to acquire 2 things. You need to upgrade pillar stance skills to this certain point, and you need to have cloud step spell. Now perform the pillar stance combo. While you're spinning, spam the cloud step spell buttons as quick as possible. Here is an example. Spinning. Spam the Cloud Step spell buttons as quick as possible. Here is an example.
Yeah, your ultimate. Yeah. You know what's that? That's special. Okay. So, for me, I took this. The tip of it always looks like, a volcano. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like wagging it, but, you just jump out. Where, like, it won't even come out. Like, right in the face. Yeah. It's like, wow. Can you clean around with us? Yeah, clean around with us. Let me just get. That's why living the life. It's a big problem. When you put toilet paper, when you run out of toilet paper, you don't put it back on the rack. You just put it on the counter. I don't put it. I do this. You only do this. You don't have it happen. I do. It's always. And I do this a lot. My pants down, right? You need to go to the cover. Yeah. To get. And I'm going to bring the whole thing over. I'll just. Eat your white tip. No. You go all the way back to that white. If I loosen enough, I can just track that. The cover. Put pants on the ankles, sponsor. Yeah. Total water dripping out there. Outside everything. Alright? I love it. What do you mean? It's so good. What do you mean? Peanut butter is the best. I enjoy it. TJ Miller is good. TJ Miller makes peanut butter. You don't know that? No. He has the best peanut butter. What is it called? It's Reliant. That's TJ Miller, the stand-up comedian, has chocolate cherry peanut butter. I won't eat anything. Give me an example. Still fried cherry in peanut butter. Yeah, but I just want peanut butter. Where you go and get your what do you get? Or what do you get? Give it your what's called Jif. Choosy moms choose Jif. Yeah. By the way, what a white phrase. Choosy moms choose. Yeah, sure. That is. Yeah. What other flavors are your parents like? Like, that's what we like. Slogan. Having you. Yeah. That's what the hardest one.
而出界就是死，要留在这盘死斗。
Ah! Fuck, shit.
谁触摸了我，雨水先把我这血。 的宣告，谁打起来都是一生无敌。
Okay, that sounds love. Yeah, love. Love. Me. Go. Your toes. I love the beat. Song. I love the beat. I love the beat. No, the phrase is I'm loving it. You're saying I love this. No, they didn't have a fucking word. Then you don't. Then you make up your own song. That's it doesn't matter. They don't.
FurySingers.com.
Well, my friends, Kamala's first interview was an utter calamity. It was also incredibly boring. I would have rather got the colonoscopy, but I do it for you guys. I'm a martyr. I do it for you. Now, let me start off by saying the bar is so low, it's in the seventh ring of hell. I wasn't expecting much from Kamala Harris, but I was expecting a little bit better. She was 40 days too quickly. Kamala Harris answered those questions like she'd just been pulled over by highway patrol and was asked to take a breathalyzer and walk in a straight line. Like, man, did you step out of the car? And she's like, I'm gonna start calling Kamala Anna Nicole Harris. The way she was talking, it was like, I've been married since 2028. That was good.
当初老子们不愿走，是你偏要背我。捉狗全部。
the entire time, but he did not do much then. When he was asked if he lied about IVF or his military record, he said, well, you know, my wife says I don't have the best grammar sometimes. Sir, telling bold-faced lies and saying, I could have better grammar is the most ridiculous cop-out thing I've ever heard. You clowns have 40 days to prepare, and this is the best product you could come up with. Now, my most important question about the entire interview is this. Why are you guys sitting around a dark, dingy diner, slumped over tables? Why don't you look presidential at all? Why are you not sitting down doing an official interview? Come on, you're hunched over like this, waiting for a shopping chaser. This whole thing was a calling. If y'all were going to do your first interview in a diner, you should have gone to the Waffle House. That place is lit up like the Chrysler Building. I'm starting to think Joe Biden extended his vacation this week because he didn't want to be around at all to answer questions about Kamala.
逃出去就是死，还要留在这烦死了。 别忙问，若不是你，咱们都不会死。
Now
Interview can be summed up in just two words: dishonest and train delicious. Which he admits may not be an actual word, but he calls it appropriate. Longtime Obama advisor David Marks will want to take.
Actually, it wasn't a huge size, but she moved the ball that much forward, but she certainly didn't fall back.
So with that being said, I want you guys to the scene and how they are trying to cope and expand into a success. But it was not a success. I'm telling you right now, this was a disaster. I would be surprised if there's another review like this that's like crazy. Moving into the future, right? I would be surprised if there's another review at all before the presidents right now that is the way. So, let's put it to propaganda and there's
当初老猪们不愿走。别拿问，若不是你，他们都不。好妹妹，看看你天蓬哥哥的影子。
This race should not be this close. It just shouldn't be. Okay, considering the track record of the Trump administration versus the track record of the Biden-Harris administration, the fact that Kamala Harris doesn't want to do it, she was forced to do it, and she bombed in this presidency. I'm not telling you why this race is close. I'm not sure I believe this one. Okay, it's almost impossible for me to grasp this idea that people actually are signed up to go for 4 more years of Joe Biden, but probably even worse, because like Kamala Harris said in this, her values haven't changed. She's a far-left communist, okay? She's a communist. And we just hope and pray that this country does not vote communist.
Normal versus weird, but pizza versus dichotomy the first time. Tonight, I think they want to
我出去就是死，我要留在这盘死。别拿问，若不是你，他们都不。狗狗，狗狗，我的狗狗。
Let's break it.
With a straight face, you cannot say that.
I would be salivating over the idea that that's how they're going to run the I don't believe it's tenable. I also thought it was interesting that she didn't take any responsibility at the end That's not true. That's why he's out of the race, and she's still standing by the idea. He's fine, and he's strong, and he's fine today. Nobody believes that, and I just think it's second. Why is he running? That's simple. Same reason I don't shouldn't be running, because he's too old and out of touch. I mean, he's terrible.
You know, I want you guys to understand. This is the thing that kills me the most about what this is. When it was clear because of Biden's mental maturity, right, that was so evident that everybody could see it. Okay, to make sure this is off, everybody knew that it was a lie. Biden.
人出老转，不愿走，心里。别恼了，若不是你，咱们都。
Gosh, fuck you, man.
Okay, before it's hard to defend against criticism of Biden and now using this against Trump. Again, I thought this would be fascinating.
Americans know the truth, and when you're willing to be president and you're willing to look them in the face and tell them something they know that you know if they'll speak. They'll live with your parents.
Just and that very easy to fix their judgment. Okay, because Joe Biden is as strong as ever. It's so great for Joe Scarborough, conspiracy world, which is where Democrats were at the time trying to defend Joe Biden and they were yeah, it speaks to the judgment that you have bad judgment. Okay, not only lie, okay, but also have terrible judgment back in the days. And Joe Biden was the eye for your eyes after so much time. Yeah, you don't have any judgment.
我出去就是死，也要留在这里。
So, but it is a challenge for her to take credit for the things that are good. It's a challenge for her and saying,
Come on!
Don't interject with your propaganda talking about, well, her being the last person in the room doesn't mean that she really had that much of an effect. Or how Joe Biden executed the Afghanistan withdrawal. It's like, well, you know that. You don't know that either way or another. What you do know is that she was the last person in the room. And she said that to imply that he had sway over how that withdrawal was executed. That's the whole point of her saying. Because otherwise, there is no speech that should say her being the last person in the room is her saying, yeah, I saw off on this. This is good. Let's do it. She was a key part of it. So what you got to see here is that clearly she didn't do that work, right? Because even her liberal in our struggle was there. In fact,
帮助老猪们不远走。糟糕了，糟糕了，我的高老别闹了！若不是你，咱们都……不让老猪快乐，谁也留下快乐。放什么警告？谁打起来不是一声不语？别闹了！若不是你，咱们都…… 老主今日就是死，也要留在这。不让老主快活，谁也休想滚！
suggest other meetings will result from the changes under the treaty. It seems America because we are united and we are slaves.
出借的就是死，没有留下。
administrations, Secretary Jim Romano says if the Bureau of official statistics.
You hear that? You potentially think that this new networks could be a liability for this campaign? No, I hear that. First of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything. It is those from the Bureau of Labor. I'm not familiar with them.
Gee, now come on. It's based on some sweet kids. Listen to these things, you know. These kids are in high school. Keep it up. She speaks with kids of any age. She treats them like they're overgrown toddlers. I mean, if I talk to my son like that without calling the mini white coats, it's not for this. They don't see it. They're nervous, they're fears, all that. Of making 15 words is a basic industry. Everything from technologies that is IVF to use genuine recording of voice is used from the reflex stage. This is the most ridiculous lie that French video here together is blind guys for the boy that it is funny. It's incredible because look at this 2016 article revealing that with his chicken taco hot dish, Tim Bowles the responses of the sixth annual hot dish.
stuff's not what it's the stuff that so that somebody at the government will get to decide everybody else gets here. And you're more than welcome to have disagreement and write an act and get on stage and sit down like that.
Let's end up dismissing it with some individual from Gigi. But these days, she's busy posting ugly lies about the only Jewish state is your fault. But 2 years ago, she was busy mocking Melania Trump. And this performance is so engaging with it. Sorry for that. I don't even know how to proceed that shit. Really, I haven't seen it. So yeah, we have my problems that were more entertaining, they weren't funny than bad. Thanks. Now, we don't want to critical race theory shut down children's throats from kindergarten onwards to make sure they're aware of their life with religion, victim hierarchies. But how soon is too soon to teach the youngins about how racist they are? Or comment Stein thinks it's never too early. There is a one more you're teaching on these slaves. Yes, indeed. I don't care what they're doing. You can be out there to them. You mean why is a person? People only look at people. People are trust them. Do you understand that? And for me, understand that you don't trust them. There's no black people that are so respected people that they're illegally. People are not trusting the illegals. And that's it from me. I'll see you Sunday morning for outsiders.
On Scott needs on Scott. It's like with that band show 100 times.
Welcome to the Rhea Potty Show Overtime. Coming up today is speaking to Goldie Demaria, Canadian and his family, working in the Southern that same ideology in Canada. We speak to Josh Palmer about what's happening in the US, including the latest study that shows Trump leading those swing states and winning when it comes to minorities. And that's the votes at CNN. There's a bumper edition of lefties to discuss. Let's start locally. Police in Southwest Sydney are investigating an Islamic preacher known as Brother Ismail for his pro-Hamas comments and calls for jihad. He warned the Australian public against labelling Muslims terrorists.
Wallahi, they don't love us. And they wish they can keep all of us. But there's nothing in the positive of love. If there is the positive of love, if there was the positive of love, it's hard. It's the solution for those.
Oh, shit. Scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit. Yes, what time is your schedule?
So they're gonna do like my 9 to 6. It's actually 9 to 6 during the week, but I'm gonna receive an email from them, and then I have to go to the orientation.
Which is just bizarre. Should totally be condemned.
So when are you going to start?
So look at that. From what I'm concerned, do we believe that you know is soon? That's what they say.
Oh my god, that is so awesome.
But it's pretty cool, but it's
Tell Fly to transfer.
what I lived through in my childhood. So the Greens senators staged a walkout during
yesterday's Senate question time in response to Labor's handling of the
Shadow.
Israel-Hamas war. Here's Green Senator Marine Faruqi.
Going to sit there and watch you pat yourself on the back for doing nothing. Ways and words are not going to stop war crimes. Today, we bring the people's protest into Parliament. Free Palestine.
Thank you, Senator Faruqi. Minister Farrell, that was a statement, so order, Senator Hanson, order.
What a pathetic, petulant display, Sophie. Not just from Marine Faruqi, but all those Green senators and the people who are voting for this. Have a look at what you're supporting. And what more can you say? I mean, this is disgraceful. Those images have gone around the world. People are wondering what is going on in Australia, because that's our parliament. That's not on the streets. That's the parliament.
Well, Rita, can I just point out here that this is Lorena Bruce's modus operandi for stunts, and also the Greens. And she's been successful in that. As you said, it's now circulated. It's gone viral around the world. But what has it actually achieved? It's made many Australians like it's a mockery now of the parliament. It just looks like our house in some sort of a circus. I think a lot of eyes have been opened up. So many messages from members of the Jewish community in the last few days, last 3 weeks really, about how they feel towards many of the Teals, the Greens, and increasingly also some in the Labor Party. I think they're finding out who are their genuine allies and who are not there when it counts. Now, in his latest monologue, comedian, who is a lefty comedian Bill Marx strongly supported Israel, pointing out that the left tends to criticise a country that has the principles of liberal democracy. Islamic fundamentalism.
Academics who refer to Israel as an outpost of Western civilization, like it's a bad thing. Please note, Western civilization is what gave the world freedoms every goddamn liberal precept that liberals are supposed to ignore. Scientific inquiry, rule of law, religious freedom, women's rights, human rights, democracy, trial by the jury, freedom of speech. These before the Enlightenment. These concepts in today's Israel and virtually nowhere else in the better place. We have no Israel. This message is going to be Israel victimized in the West. The irony is cause people against the U.S. government.
Someone might be surprised what you're saying is so sensible, but shouldn't we still applaud it? Absolutely. And he's one of the few who has got the guts to do that, because there have been many in his audience who don't like hearing that, but he's happy to say it. He's like it, but it's not a tough day. It's not a public holiday for have a good year. He's like supports them. Better, like it's while Joe Biden is $2 for a couple of outsiders there and Gavin Newsom and Nikki Haley. This obviously follows polling that I'll be discussing later in this program with Josh. But interesting result. Would you be willing to punt on that? 263? I would believe that it's still a while out to this. Anyway, I feel our nominees are about to be back to buy. But
think Trump's got a pretty good chance of coming forward to get right. He hasn't got much competition with himself playing that way, does he? I would disagree with that total. So yeah, that's very nice. Now this story, I have to double check this out. This is actually true, because it sounds too crazy, but sadly it is true. Frank has become the latest figure to be a victim of cancel culture in efforts to be inclusive. A kindergarten in East Germany has decided to choose names from Frank to explore kindergartens to be inclusive. This has sparked debate with the Israel-Hamas conflict. So before I get your response, I want has been renamed to be more diverse and progressive, which is probably would work best. OJ Simpson preschool wonder homes or River to Sea World of Adventures. Of course, that account is run by the very droll Nancy Doyle. But how can they do this? How can they try to erase not its history, but to see and find as not sufficiently inclusive? We're just going to see more and more of this rhetoric where they are actually stamping out history and trying to rewrite it. And I think that's really concerning. Just to raise it and move on. We're going to see more and more of this as we go to this point where and I think it's more why they're making that decision, because there might be certain demographics who are not happy with that name. Now it's time for What is Listening? Let's start with many wage workers being shamed and complained about by this self-indulgent narcissist who is always ready to find his inner Karen.
Looks like he's having a nice piece shooter. It's all good, but it was not all good. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not certain. Yeah, like it's like a negative of her. I also specifically ask him at a time, not people. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. So you want to start saying, okay, not. It's always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager who talked about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir.
Self-obsessed, attention-seeking, cry bullies. The specific cry bullies that are trying to simultaneously play the victim, but really the bullies themselves.
Did you call me sir? I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir. Called me sir.
Yeah. There's more.
Nothing like the big misgender here. I'm not sir. Yeah, not sir. Not sir. But then the guy who dropped the job, he called me sir twice in a row. You know that?
I do like the little hat on the dog. That's a nice touch. But our fellow Karen there has to run to management like a good cry bully and complain that their feelings weren't heard. Let's hope nobody lost their job in any of those cases. So all these poor waiters, they're working hard. They're not earning much money. Can you just imagine having someone go to your manager because you accidentally misgendered them? I mean, they were also apologetic there as well in the video. So I'm more concerned about the dog. Why is the dog sitting at the table? And what gender is the dog? They don't know that. It's just crazy. But he has deliberately set this up to get the reaction. I mean, seriously, it's poor waitresses and waiters, you have to deal with this nonsense. It is so self-indulgent. You look at the problems around the world and to be playing victim over that. Now let's go to some later breaking lefties losing it news. And overnight we have this mindless madness by the usual climate change cultists. there's increasingly violent destruction in the streets because for a time. In that case goes to just stop oil protesters have been arrested after their antics at the National Gallery in London. Sadly, so they'll probably get the usual slap on the wrist. This is why they're because it's empty. That's why going viral on social media and really no repercussions. So why would they stop doing it? They get all the traction, they get all the publicity. That's what they want to do, and then they get a little slap on the wrist. Someone pointed out on X, why don't they invite modern pieces of art? Because that possibly that would find a new resistance there. We might actually topic debate. Now let's go to lefty heartland, and that is about any college campus nowadays, from Melbourne to London to LA. Here is Charlie Kirk remaining calm and polite as a lefty loses it big time.
Would you like to have a conversation?
Yeah. I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you piss a lot of people off because you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists.
What if there's said that's racist? Can you name the Can you name the second? Can you say the second thing I've ever said that's racist?
I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be useful.
What have I ever said that's
I just want
hateful?
to hate you. You're awful. Get off my camera.
When have I ever said anything that's hateful? You can't say anything I've ever said that's racist, because I've never said anything that's racist. That is the American left in one picture, everybody. Lots of rage and no wisdom.
So here's Charlie explaining. Doing that, he's not the man of colour who says I support Charlie, and then ends the tantrum by walking off in a huff. And he just ticks every box step by Sophie. He does very well. I mean, where's the evidence? He couldn't just stood there and just said, well, get off my character. That's so why when he had no argument. Because the mask rally do all that. Appreciate it. I mean, he did it right. Now to two lefties losing it, and frankly, I don't know who is worse here. The racist woman, Yaba Blade, saying all white people are guilty and no amount of reparations will change that. Or the single thing nodding along.
White people, I need you to know that your money will not escape you from your guilt. You cannot pay your way out of this. There are enough reparations in the world that you can pay us. And so you think because you write a check or you slide me something in memo that you're wrong, I'm not a racist. Dr. Blair's going to spend your $100 and still tell you that you're racist.
That's awesome, my God. By the way, that's former US soccer player, Wanda, nodding along like a self-loading simpleton. Talk about a struggle session there. Sitting there, nodding along and saying, no matter what we do, no matter what I've personally done, nothing's going to get rid of this white guilt.
It's all really quite pathetic, Rachel, isn't it? I'm just watching that going, what am I watching here? I still don't know where you find these videos, Rachel.
Oh, there's so much. I mean, this segment could go for every day. Now, here's footage of a Palestinian protester approaching Billboard Chris. We've spoken to him on this program. He does great work. She waves her flag stick right in his face. It's tantamount to assault. But see what happens with the unidentified stabbular here. The police blame the victim and accuse him of butchering the piece.
So we don't know what settlements, but if I'm tuning out the way I'm looking over there to present the groups in the case. Come on answer the side. You've got plenty of video like this if you need to angry kid for the team. There's 20 I'm going to do that. We can play that, and I'll chat with you on the okay, that's fine. And got the other again. This feels safe because when I'm in that space, we're not too
And again, the UK, the convincing is utterly rotten, it's broken, and Sophie, what's even more disturbing is they've got to respect under more than of war. Imagine if Labour were in, which looks like they're going to be in any time, while the state of policing is going to look like in a decade. Pretty concerning risk to watch that image, and it's not like there seems to be irregular occurrence, and I suspect if King's family is clear, we see more of this. The cops, it's not good. The people who are more likely to become premeditated and violent that we're trying to. Now let's go to the US. Dr. Anthony Fauci, a lefty in recent areas now, which is public with applications of harmful lockdowns.
First of all, I didn't recommend anything down. And the record will show. We didn't recommend shutting everything down. I recommended to the president on several incidents.
Oh, Sophie, we all would like to rewrite parts of history, but alas, there's plenty of evidence of Fauci advocating it was memory loss rate. Well, it's very selective memory loss. That means those days he was conferences for a long time, and then he complained that the lockdowns weren't strict enough because states like Florida and Texas were not abiding by some of those recommendations. Now, let's go back to those anti-Israel protesters. Some of them turned their hate on McDonald's patrons. And watch them abuse those living in restaurants, including a young child being trained by his father. So it's a strange state of affairs when you can't go to McDonald's with your kids have a happy meal without having to run through that level. It's right when you can start with your family. It's really concerning that we see that, and we're seeing more of this around the world. I mean, how low has society gone in getting to this point? Well, the UK has got to do a little bit with the previous clip we showed of what was happening in London with the police fighting the victims. The bullies are being emboldened, and this is what you get. So, always a pleasure. Thank you, Rachel. My next guest is an Iranian-Canadian politician from Ontario who gave a speech that went viral recently. Gordon Damari spoke out about how his family escaped Iran after the Islamic Revolution, turned the country into an business hellhole, particularly for women. The family sought and granted refuge in Canada, but in a speech that's been shared far and wide, particularly by members of the Jewish community, she spoke of how she's seen signs of that ugly ideology she felt in the West, in Canada, where even before Israel's counter-offensive, crowds gathered to celebrate Hamas's horrific attack against Israeli civilians on October 7th.
Well, my grandparents immigrated to Canada in 1986. I was a year older. And the reason that they immigrated to Canada from Iran is because in 1979, there was an Islamic revolution, and once free and democratic country was taken over by radical Islamists, was taken over by terrorists, and was taken over by fascists. And we would like if that be true. That radical fundamentalist Islamic fascist ideology. United speakers of the and that information dezolation and propaganda, not just inside the Islamic regime of Iran, but around the world, and through its proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah and others. And I have to head off this pro-Hamas rally. It's the first time in my life that I've ever felt uncomfortable as a Canadian. The hate, the anger, the way they were marching, the chants they were making. That's what we see in the Islamic regime in Iran. We do not see that. That's the kind of behavior you see in radical, fundamentalist countries, not in Canada. That is not the Canada that my parents immigrated to. That is not the Canada that we were raised in.
Goldie Gamari joins me now. Goldie, has Canada changed? Have you imported and fostered the same ideology your parents fled?
Well, hi, Rita. Thank you so much for having me on, first of all, and thank you to everyone who's watching and listening. So Canada that my parents immigrated to in 1986, I feel like it's not the same Canada that we're witnessing today. My parents came here to escape a radical Islamofascist ideology. They came here because they wanted to live in a free, democratic, and secular society. And growing up, we had no problem integrating into Canadian society. My parents embraced Canadian values, my parents embraced Canadian culture and secularism, and the Canadian ideas and ideology and beliefs that we respect everyone. We're here to be Canadian first and foremost, and are here because we want to be peaceful, and we want to live our lives free of government control. And it doesn't mean that you have to forget about your heritage or your language or your culture or your customs, but what it means is that you leave the hatred and the baggage of your home country behind, because we come here to live in a peaceful, democratic society.
Absolutely. Goldie, we've seen these anti-Israeli rallies around Canada, around the Western world. We've seen posters of kidnapped children torn down, and in Canada and elsewhere we've seen the flag of Hamas's biggest backers, the Iranian regime, flying high. And there's footage of thousands of Muslims lining the streets of Toronto to pray together was highlighted by another MP, Iranian Belgian this time, Darius Safai, whose family light years and mine escaped Iran. She said what looks peaceful and innocent is, as she said, a political and social message. She called it a power display. And she also noted the strict gender apartheid. That means there are no women among that groups. What's your response to that? Displays of the people playing in the street?
100%. Absolutely. It should be very conservative. Many Iranian Canadians diaspora around the world. So we have been sharing footage of the protests one of the ways that the terrorist Islamic in Iran, this Islamic fascist regime, responds to pro-democracy Iranians within Iran who are fighting for peace and democracy is they will take over their spaces and they will pray in front of them. And for a lot of people will think, oh, well, they're just praying, they're being peaceful, but it's the opposite of and it is very concerning and it is very frightening to see these radical Islamic fascist ideologies abusing the freedoms and the charter, like within Canada, for example, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the Constitution, saying that, oh, what's the problem? You're just praying on the street. No, you're not on the street. You are participating in unsanctioned rally. You are blocking traffic. Spaces, and you are criminalization and conquering within radical Islamic ideology. The really frustrating part is that when Iranian diaspora speaks out about this, we're accused of being Islamophobia, we're accused of race. It's to escape that terrorist flag you see right there, that Allahu Akbar flag, which has nothing to do with Iran. We fly the lion's sun flag. There's a reason that Iranian women were named, were given the Nobel Peace Prize. There's a reason that Iranian women were named the Time Hero of the Year by Times Magazine. There's a reason that Sheridan Huntington won that award within the Oscars. The radical ideology in Western democracies is very concerning, not to us, but it should be very concerning to everyone who lives in Canada, Australia, United States, and more countries.
There has been this bizarre coexistence between the left and Islamists, which is, I think, an indigenous for everybody, including the left, actually. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, he's still refusing to label the Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organisation. Tell me about his response to this crisis and more broadly, how the country has changed under his reign.
So I know the Iranian Canadian diaspora has been calling for years to ask him like PS752, which was shot down by the terrorist Islamic regime back in January 2020. And when it was shot down by the Islamic regime in Iran, propaganda in the United States and Canada. And it was only from Iran that the documents finally had to concede that they were the ones who shot down this passenger flight, which killed 55 Canadians and also 30 permanent residents, Iranian permanent residents living in Canada, as well as all 176 innocent passengers on board. And literally 1 month later, Prime Minister Trudeau was seen meeting with Zadie, who was the foreign affairs minister at the time, shook his hand, bowed his head to his Islamic regime terrorists, and pretended that everything was okay. And that was just such a huge insult to Iranian Canadians because he is just so tone deaf. And he marches in our rallies, he chants, he's angry, he calls out the Islamic regime, and yet he's the prime minister, and he does absolutely nothing about it. And it's very shameful to see this happening here from the prime minister of a country that was supposed to stand up for freedom and democracy.
And yet we saw how he reacted to the truckers' protest and the manner in which those men mainly were attacked. There's so much to talk about. Goldie Damani, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Joining me now is Royal.
So happy for you, Katie. Good job.
To Die For Daily podcast, Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, Christopher and Megan were spotted enjoying some kid-free VIP treatment as they attended a Katy Perry concert over the weekend, partying with Haley's company. They travelled to Las Vegas in private jet, of course. Along with that, to sing with Celine Dion. Is this essentially their full-time jobs now, Kinsey, travelling on private jets to catch up with Beyonce and Katy Perry and Elton John or whoever else is around?
Rita, there's so much to unpack here. First of all, I think you're being very generous calling one of the members of Good Charlotte A-lister. God bless you. And the irony that one of their most famous songs, those lifestyle of the rich and famous, always complaining. Is that not your Megan's theme song? I mean, there's of it. Absolutely. Remember, Katy Perry and Meghan were allegedly at war at some point because of Katy Perry's comments about Meghan Markle's wedding dress to Entertainment Tonight. You and I both know there's not a bridge that Meghan Markle hasn't poured gasoline on. From what I understand here in the States, it's Orlando Bloom that is trying to initiate this friendship because he feels guilty about his portrayal as Prince Harry in an HBO Max very short-lived comedy called The Prince. So it's in Orlando Bloom that feels sort of guilt and sympathy, and it wants to initiate this relationship. Now, what's in it for Meghan Markle? Because Meghan Markle doesn't do anything that she doesn't seem to feel like there's some sort of benefit in it for her. I'll tell you what it is. Megan has been watching Taylor Swift. Megan loves these visuals of Taylor Swift and her girl gang. Sophie Turner, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Megan is desperate to have the same type of visual. So yes, she's going to jump on a private plane, despite preaching that we all need to watch our environmental footprint. Megan is jumping on private planes. And hobnobbing with Celine Dion because she watches Taylor Swift and is desperately trying to claim some of that, just universal love that Taylor has.
Well, whatever you think of Taylor Swift, the girl actually works. She writes songs, she performs, she tours the world. She's got meaningful employment, which I'm not sure we can say about Meghan right now. The Daily Express reports Prince Harry's split with the royal family could be beyond repair. What more can you tell us about this report?
Absolutely. Now, this is coming from an amazing royal author named Tom Quinn, who makes a lot of comparisons to Prince Harry and, his uncle, who abdicated, left the royal family for an American divorcee. What I found out over the weekend, I was at a polo event with the Wales polo team, so a lot of people watching, a lot of people there that are personal friends with the royal family said the exact same thing, that they are so shocked by Harry's
This is how they steal a nation from you, is they get you to believe enough lies cumulatively that you no longer know what is true. And then they gaslight you and tell you about fake news on the right. Look, nothing gets mistakes. It's criminal. We have an admonish button. The difference is we make the references publicly available to you, and we actually have shame. Here's another one that they try and steal this election from you. And we're allowed to say that on YouTube now, which is great. You're allowed to say steal. Steal? No, it's because I want to say that the election is stolen from them. Oh, that's yeah. Gotta keep that. So here's another one. They want to lie to you about everything. We know that, but they specifically, when the lies don't work on policy, this is what's so, I can't remember another time, and Mission Control can fact check me on this, where if the polls are really close, and they are, let's just call them a day, okay? On the issues that matter most to Americans, the handling of the economy, for example, the border, inflation, the American public favorite Donald Trump overwhelmed the way it is not reflected. Which means that you have people, for the first time that I can remember in my lifetime, you can correct me if I'm wrong, who are saying, yeah, I know that this man is better on policy, but the media in Hollywood tricked me into the cult of personality. I know that grocery prices will go up with Kamala, and I know they'll go down with Donald Trump. I believe that they'll secure the border more effectively than her, and that's her job. I get it. I think that we'll actually be in a better place economically. But the media says she's really cool. Those are the point, and the reason you see vibes and joy, and the reason that you see that gap is because of stories just like this. Now, as soon as I read the initial story, I said, okay, this is absolutely, horseshit. All right, pardon my language. But I knew the media was going to continue running with this. Donald Trump in Arlington, at the cemetery. So on the third anniversary, to set this up, of the Afghanistan withdrawal. It feels weird saying anniversary. Yeah. When you're talking about a tragedy. Use another word.
不出户知天下，不窥友见天道。好汉别来无恙。道祖慈悲，好汉福寿无量。察天地动静之机，探日月盈虚之妙，但可成机。乾坤。
But who's gonna watch Paris?
听说里头藏着不得了的宝贝，你模样这么伶俐，不妨进去寻寻。That sounds good. I'll go ahead and apply because the job that I have is really not stable.
咱老夫老妻的，何必翻那旧账？你莫不是忘了，当年猴子留我下来灭口，是谁最后没舍得对你下手啊？
我没忘，但我更忘不了的是你们走后，我如何靠着姐姐们的肉身骨血，才挺了过来。
这仇不能全赖我们，要怪就怪你师兄，是他把唐僧肉看得比你们姐妹的命要紧。
师兄是一时糊涂，事后他悔恨交加，做了许多补偿，甚至不惜用那东西替我续命，不然我怎能撑到今日这样？
好妹妹，你说的当真？那东西如今在你手上。
哥哥，到了此刻，你心里惦记的还是那只猴子。
什么猴子？胡说！臭猴子哪有你标志啊？
再多说些我还听呢。待我听快活了，兴许大发慈悲，告诉你那东西在何处。
你这恶妇，有胆去全面照照，都这般岁数了，还念些情情爱爱，当真可笑。
我困在这洞中，日日等你，时时想你，想着同房后立刻吃了你，治好我这病根。
要吃别吃，搞这一出拜堂敬酒，弄些个恶心噱头，发什么假闹风？我呸！
吃不下去，不单是为你，更是为他。
这小女娃又黑又丑，鬼知道是谁的孽种！你今日这般下场与我毫无干系，我只恨自己当时在心慈手软。你怎么才来啊？我眼前就死了！快快降了这妖婆，放我下
叫姐姐们过来。我此生最恨猴子，回回都是你们坏我好事。我究竟哪里不如这些猴子？既然你这么喜欢猴子， 我便抛了他的心，挖了他的肝，与你一起尝尝。
哎，你这要我说什么，都是先给我老子说说法。哎，再说，让我这些饭是跑得太远了。